Hello and a very warm welcome to Meghan and Harry News YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Alex, how are you doing? Prince Harry's promotion of his book Spare is ongoing and is causing many of the pro-monarchy royalists in the media to lose their marbles. They've gone into overdrive, pushing out wave after wave of critical negative reports and interviews, influencers calling Harry a traitor, etc, etc, and it only serves to show how insane and ridiculously biased these people are. It also highlights how so much of the media is in the pockets of the firm, and we must remember it is merely a book, and these are Harry's opinions, that is all, it is just a book, and the absurd overreactions of the media are glorious to behold as they just prove their point. As has been well documented, there has been a well-documented smear campaign against them for years, a very targeted campaign. Here we see Harry has done an exclusive interview with People magazine, including a photo shoot. This doesn't come out until Friday, and there is not much information as to what might be included in the interview. It says here, "I struggled for years to accept or even speak about my mother's death. I was unable to process that she was gone. I'm not sure anyone can ever truly have closure when they lose a parent, or anyone for that matter, especially when that grief may be the only thing left of them," he tells People. "The healing process has allowed me to get to a place where I now feel the presence of my mum more than ever before. She's with me all the time, my guardian angel." Other excerpts from the interview include him talking about how he is now in a good place. "I have a beautiful and blessed life, one that comes with a platform and with it responsibility that Meghan and I plan to use wisely," he says. "I feel I'm exactly where I'm meant to be and exactly where we, my family, are meant to be. I don't think I could have written this book otherwise." In other news, we see Paul Burrell is grumpy because Harry mentioned him in his book, stating that he's been milking his mother's death for years. Paul Burrell has always been going on about how he was Diana's rock, etc, etc, but recently he has been featured on many shows and has been bad-mouthing Harry and Meghan. I think we can tell which side of the fence he really sits on. But of course, Paul Burrell is now showing his true colours. Here we see Paul Burrell hits back at angry and privileged Prince Harry as he tells TV hosts he doesn't recognise the young man I see today, after Duke of Sussex accused Diana's ex-butler of milking her death for money. In the book Spare, Harry said Diana's former butler was milking her death for money when he published his 2001 book A Royal Duty, which contained a raft of private revelations. But appearing on Australian breakfast show Sunrise, Mr. Burrell said, "I first met him in his mummy's tummy. I don't recognise the young man I see today. That's not the boy I knew. What I see now is an angry, petulant, privileged prince who is constantly blaming other people and not taking accountability on his part." Paul Burrell was a butler, a servant to the royal family, and I think he probably still is in relation to media appearances. He is still in some form of service. He owes them, mainly because of the time the Queen stepped in, when he was being prosecuted for stealing Diana's belongings after her death. The Queen stepped in and stopped the trial. It says here, Mr. Burrell, 64, served as a footman for the Queen before working for Diana for 10 years until her death in 1997. Paul Burrell also has the nerve to suggest he knows what Diana would be thinking if she were alive now. He says she would be angry at these personal, vindictive revelations, which don't just undermine Harry, but his country, his family, the institution, which his mother was very proud of, and of his late grandmother's legacy, he said. Mr. Burrell blamed Harry's wife, Meghan, for the Duke's vindictive behaviour, claiming she was the one driving him behind the scenes. He said, "This isn't just a book written by Harry. Meghan's had a huge influence in this book. She's beside him, steering him on his path. You can't just blame Harry, you have to blame the both of them." And he goes on, and I won't bore you with what he says, but it includes how great Kate and William and the King are, and how they have been disrespected and betrayed. Same old drama queen nonsense. Paul Burrell is no different to any of the Royal Rota reporters, or any of the other talking heads you see in the media. They are all there to badmouth Meghan and Harry in one way or another. Harry sums him up in his new book. In his memoir Spare, Harry describes how he learned of the book when he was working as an unpaid farmhand in Australia, aged 19 in 2003 after leaving Eton. He writes that he received a package from Buckingham Palace which was full of memos from the palace communications team about a delicate matter. Mummy's former butler had penned a tell-all which actually told nothing, he said. It was merely one man's self-justifying, self-centering version of events. My mother once called this butler a dear friend, trusted him implicitly. We did too, now this. He was milking her disappearance for money. It made my blood boil. Harry writes that he wanted to fly home to confront Mr. Burrell, but Charles and William talked him out of it, saying all they could do was issue a united condemnation. The Duke also claims that he had nothing to do with the drafting of the Clarence House statement, and that he would have gone much further. I would suggest that Paul Burrell knew stuff, had secrets, and that is why the Queen stepped in to stop that court case against him, and then from that day on he is on their side. And that is why he probably got permission to write a book and allowed to profit from it. And that is also, as Harry says, the book said nothing of any interest or relevance. It was probably a whitewash. Please leave a comment, let me know your opinion below, and I'll see you in the next video.